believe that 20 seasons has gone by so quickly. There's so many people I want to thank, and I'll get that opportunity to do that over the next few weeks, both publicly and privately. But I want to take a brief moment to thank the Steinbrenner family and Mr. George Steinbrenner for giving me the opportunity to play my entire career for the only organization I've ever wanted to play for. I want to thank my family and friends who are all over. Thanks for all the love and support throughout the years, through the good times, and more importantly, through the tough times. So thank you very much. My managers, coaches, trainers, teammates, both current and former, I've been blessed to play with the best, and I wouldn't want to compete without any of you guys, so thank you very much. And lastly, most importantly, I want to thank you, the fans. Everyone that's here today, anyone that's at home watching, anyone that's ever been here over the course or watched during the last 20 seasons, thank you very much. You guys have all watched me grow up over the last 20 years. I watched you too. Some of you guys are getting old too. But I want to thank you for helping me feel like a kid for the last 20 years. In my opinion, I've had the greatest job in the world. I got a chance to be the shortstop of the New York Yankees, and there's only one of those.
Woo!
And I always felt as though that my job was to try to provide joy and entertainment for you guys, but it can't compare to what you brought me. So for that, thank you very much. I've loved what I've done. I love what I do. More importantly, I've loved doing it for you. So from the bottom of my heart, thank you very much. We got a game to play.
Woo!
John Flaherty, Jack Curry back with you as the ceremony for Derek Jeter wraps up. A perfect punctuation to that. We've got a game to play. That's what we expected from Derek all along. And in watching everything that's unfolding on the field, guys, we picked words earlier and saw images of Derek Jeter. Words: honor, dignity, legacy, and champion. And I think what you see on the field there and in that stadium, Jack, the one word that comes to mind is respect.
Absolutely, Bob. You see the respect paid to him by former teammates, by current teammates. How about the Kansas City Royals? Not only watching the ceremony, but getting out of their dugout, some of their players with their cell phones taking pictures. They're honored to be part of this. And I agree with you, Jeter, exclamation point on his speech by saying, hey, we got a game to play. It's about baseball for him when it finally comes down to it.
Well, Jack, you were 100% right with Derek. Very stoic, very businesslike. I mean, he did a great job with his speech, but it was to the point. It was concise. I thought we'd see maybe a little more emotion from him. We did not. The focus clearly on appreciating everybody and saying his thank yous. But the final comment, we have a game to play. That sums up Derek Jeter's career. And in talking and listening to him talk about the last 20 years, he mentioned how fast it's gone. It does feel that way. And what you're realizing as you look at Posada out there, Mariano Rivera, you realize it is the last link to that dynasty.
He is the last link, Bob, and it does go fast. I remember Derek Jeter when the Yankees drafted him. I remember him being this skinny kid who came to Yankee Stadium. They would always bring the first-round draft picks there. You see Jeter now posing for pictures. It does go fast, and when you look back, as we've talked about what he has meant to Yankee fans, no matter who the Yankees get to play shortstop next year, it's always going to feel as there is a void because you're so used to having Jeter there.
You know, Derek, part of all those great Yankee teams, and he acknowledged his teammates today saying, you know what, I couldn't have done it without you, and it was great playing with you. And playing against Derek for a lot of years before I got a chance to play with him, you didn't appreciate how good he was or how good he is until you were on the same field with him, playing with him, and getting to enjoy him in the clubhouse, and the confidence that he brought every day. He truly believed he was the best player on the field every day, when talent-wise he probably wasn't, but in his mind, he believed that he was. Jack, it goes back to what you were talking about on our pregame coverage on Derek Jeter Day, the fact that he's always believed that. That was part of the scouting report. That was part of what his dad told you Derek was all about.
You know what, Bob? And it goes back to, oddly enough, a basketball game in high school. He was a high school sophomore. His team was down by 2 in a game with 3 seconds left. Coach calls a timeout, designs a play for Jeter, and says, we're going to win this game. You're going to hit a three-pointer. And Jeter said when the coach said it, that's all that he did. He locked in on that. He came out. They ran the play perfectly. He sinks the three-pointer. Kalamazoo Central beats Portage Central. And he said from that moment on, he decided you have to go out there with that amount of confidence.
Are you kidding me? You're going to a sophomore basketball game and you remember both schools?
I wrote a book with the guy. I remember these anecdotes, but something like that sticks with you because I think a lot of kids, high school, sophomore, not even his best sport, you're playing varsity, you might have a little bit of trepidation. But I think that Jeter, the athlete he was as a teenager and the way he handled himself, that's who he is today.
And I want to go back to that thought because you were in the same clubhouse with him and you saw how good he was. As you mentioned, you really realized it. You watch the physical things that happen on the field and how good he is making a play, the Jeter, the jump throw, the whole thing, and how he can live in that moment and come up with a big hit. But that speaks to, did players learn from the mental side of the game from him about just how strong he was mentally?
Well, I think so. And there's so many players that you're teammates with, and they act like they have the confidence, but deep down underneath, there's a lot of self